Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I shared in a video recently, I think it was Day in the Life, I just casually mentioned that our kids get allowance and I had quite a few questions on that. So I'm going to answer some of those questions today and just talk about how and why we give allowance to our kids. I don't think this is a topic I have ever done a video on before, so that's going to be the focus of today's video. And I'm not coming on here to say this is what we do and this is what you should do. There are so many opinions on it, and I don't think there is a right or wrong way to handle this with your kids in your family. But I'm just going to explain to you what we do. I did write down a few notes, and so first I'm just going to talk about why we do allowance with our kids, and then I'll talk about how we do it. So I know that there are definitely arguments against giving your kids allowance, and one of those is like, well, when you grow up and you have housework and responsibilities to do, you're not going to get paid for those. So don't pay your kids for that. But the thing is, my kids are young and they can't work. There is no other way for them to go and make money. And so giving them allowance is a good way for them to earn some money. With that money, they can spend it or they can save it and use it on whatever they want. We do not buy our kids toys very often at all. Like, we do Christmas and we do Easter and we do birthdays. But I would say we almost never will just randomly say, oh, here's a new book for you. Here's a new toy for you. It's really just those gifts. And then whatever, you know, they might see something else that they want, they can use the money they have to buy those items. I think that giving our kids allowance teaches them responsibility, so they can choose if they want to spend their money right away, if they want to save their money. We do have some kids that are obviously more spenders and some that are more savers. We have not really been on top of like, okay, you need to save this portion of what you get. We probably should be better on that, but we haven't really placed a big emphasis yet on saving. But they do tithe their 10%. And so that's a good lesson for them in just knowing how to handle money. Our kids have had times before where they're maybe at a church service and they're hearing from a missionary and they are just, it's really on their hearts to give some money to those missionaries. And so they can use some of their own money to do that. At birthdays and at Christmas for their siblings, we also have them spend their own money to buy those gifts. And I think it's just a good lesson for them on responsibility. It also teaches them the value of money. So if your kids never have money of their own, maybe there would be times where they'd go to the store and be like, I want this, why can't you buy me this? And they're not even paying attention to amounts of how much everything costs. My kids, especially my older ones, but they really start to understand the value of money, and they really understand, okay, yes, I can buy this can of pop at the convenience store for $2, but if I only had $2 more on that, I could buy this small toy. Or that's kind of a silly example, but they understand if they spend their money right now, they are not going to be able to save money for some bigger item that they want. And they know once they spend that money, their money is gone. And they're not really asking me to buy them things because they know we have this money of our own. And so if I want that thing, I am going to have to save my own money. On to how we handle allowance with our kids. So there are a lot of different ways to do this. And I know there are parents who will have a chart and say, if you complete all these chores, you'll make this much money for this chore, this much money for that chore. Or if you have a bad attitude, you don't get money for this certain chore. We keep it super simple. Our kids do have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of chores around our house. What kind of chores? Well, every day they're washing and drying dishes, they do their own laundry. On the weekends, they're vacuuming, they're cleaning bathrooms, they're helping out at mealtime, clearing the table, making meals, because they do serve and help around the house a lot. And so it's just a little income for them. Occasionally, like very rarely, we'll have a bigger job that we might say, okay, if you guys do this big job, it's not just a regular chore around the house, but some bigger task that needs to be done. If you help me out with this job, then you will, we'll pay you this much. For instance, last summer we had so much raking to do, and so we told the kids for every, I don't remember what the amount was, but for every bag of leaves they were able to rake up, they'd get this much money. And so that was a big task, and that, did incentivize the kids to do that. But those bigger money earning opportunities are fairly few and far between. How much money do we give our kids each week? Well, I don't think I'm gonna give you like the exact amount that we're currently paying each of our kids. We do have like a weekly amount they each get, and then they get paid every other week. Andrew gets paid every other week, and so every time he gets paid, the kids each get paid their 2-week salary of sorts. It is a small amount. Like, I'm not talking big amounts here. I think when our kids first started getting allowance, Wesley's not even getting allowance yet. He's 4. So probably when he's about 5, we'll start with him. And they start at maybe $2 every week. It's a small amount. And then every year or two, probably more like every 2 years, we will give them each, a little raise, bump it up a little bit, but they are like stair steps. The oldest has the most responsibility, so he's making the most, the next one a little bit less, and so on. Gradually, every couple years, it will go up a little bit as they're getting older and being more responsible, more helpful around the house. On that note, Andrew and I get allowance of sorts as well. And this is a big tip, okay, you guys? If you're to help out with, just some of those financial arguments or disagreements you'll have as a couple. Andrew and I, ever since we got married, we both have like our own spending money. So same as the kids get money every other week when Andrew gets paid, Andrew and I get spending money too. It's a bit more than what the kids get, but it is money that is our own to spend however we want. So it's not like, oh, I spent $100 on clothes this month, and Andrew's like, oh, you spent 100, you're buying a lot, because that's usually how I spend my spending money, is on clothes. And he's like, oh, okay, like, are we even, or we have to ask each other every time we buy stuff or whatever. We each have our own spending money. So whether we want to buy it on clothes, spend it on clothes, or on like home decor or tools or whatever, we don't need to be checking with each other and asking, because that money is our spending money. So just a little extra tip for you guys inserted into this video. And then I did get some questions on how the kids spend their money. Like when we take them shopping, whatever, they see stuff, they'll see what their friends have. They see advertisements. We'll go to the store. They'll see what's out there. They know what they want. It's not usually, oh, let's go to the store and look for stuff. They each have their piggy bank and they have money, and sometimes they get money and they know, this is what I want to save. This is what I want to save for. I have one child who's just saving and saving right now, and he has no idea what he's saving money for. He's just saving and saving, and when something comes up, he'll know, well, I have the money to buy that. And so sometimes, oh, my daughter this week, she's like, I really want a new Barbie. I'm like, okay, well, how much money do you have? Do you want to go look online and we can shop on Amazon or whatever? And so we'll just here and there, if they say, I really want to buy this thing, we'll take them to the store, or we'll often it's shopping online, because they can, take their sweet time to look at all the options online. So that's really nice when they want to go that route. And so that's just kind of how they, they can spend, they can save, they figure it out. They know what that next book is they want to read, or this new toy, and how much it costs. We'll look online and see how much it costs. They'll know how long it takes for them to save for that item, and so on. I thought this video would be really short and sweet. It's actually a little bit longer than I thought. It took me a little bit longer than I thought to kind of explain that whole thing. But if you have any other questions on this allowance topic, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you have any other suggestions. I love this because I didn't really have a plan for today's video. Just a few days ago, I was like, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? And then all these questions came up, and I thought, perfect, that's what I'm going to talk about in Monday's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that was answered the questions you wanted to know, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.